with more complete coverage from across Southern Nevada and where you live. This is News 13, inside Las Vegas, live at 5.
First, I want to just say thanks to the media. The media is the one that helped crack this case.
The nationwide search for a little girl kidnapped from a bus station has come to an end, and it's a very happy ending. Good evening, I'm Shawn Boyd.
And I'm Tricia Kean, in for Cathy Ray. 16-month-old Jasmine Anderson was found safe and sound in West Virginia. The FBI says the toddler was found in a home in the town of Williamson, and authorities say they now have the suspect in custody. It all started 3 days ago on Christmas Eve. Marcella Anderson was sitting in a bus station in Chicago when a woman befriended her and offered her a ride, then took the little girl. Today, a very grateful Anderson thanked those who helped her find Jasmine.
Grateful for everyone, the news, the Milwaukee Journal, all the newspapers, everyone who had anything to do with the safe return, especially the family members who were brave enough to come forward, and they had a really good heart, and God bless everyone who helped.
Police got a call from West Virginia. Detectives went out to follow the lead and found Jasmine's coat. That led them to the little girl.
A local man will spend 4 to 15 years in prison for violently beating a little girl.
James Hosmer pleaded guilty to the crime as part of a plea agreement back in November. News 13's Carolyn Jefferson was in the courtroom for the sentencing and spoke with the little girl's mother. Wow, Carolyn.
Yes. Well, the family is not happy about this plea agreement, and although Hosmer asked for forgiveness, Dusty Hollis says she will never forgive him for what he did to her daughter.
This is the child Dusty Hollis remembers and still longs for.
She'd like dance and, you know, just was a total people person.
Dusty fears Alexis's life may never be the same. She's lost some of her eyesight and may have permanent brain damage.
I mean, the same things don't make her laugh anymore. She doesn't even know what it means to dance now, and she just doesn't understand everything that's happened to her, and just not the same.
Hosmer is sentenced to a maximum term of 180 months, which is 15 years.
In court, the man accused of beating the toddler learned his fate after entering a plea bargain. During the sentencing, James Hosmer asked for forgiveness.
And I just want to express my deep, deep remorse for the Hollis family. I've known Medea a very long time. That's the baby's dad. And I'm very sorry.
But he couldn't offer any explanation for what happened that day in August 2000 when he was babysitting 18-month-old Alexis.
I just had no idea. I've got children of my own, but, you know, I had no idea what was happening. Before I knew it, it was all just one big nightmare.
Dusty told the court there was no excuse for her daughter's injuries at the hands of a man who used to be a family friend. She was outraged when the defense asked for an alternative to prison time.
And I took her to the hospital, and then she had to be resuscitated. And they're asking for a lighter sentence boot camp. My daughter didn't get a lighter sentence.
Now every day, Dusty says she struggles to accept the reality of how her daughter's life has changed.
It's rough. I just try and not think about how she used to be and just deal with what I have now.
Now, the judge ruled against boot camp for Hosmer, and it is unlikely that he will be released after serving only 4 years.
What does Hosmer's family have to say about all this?
Well, they were very upset about all this, but they wouldn't comment on camera.
Okay, Carolyn, thank you. Well, if you suspect your child or another child has been abused but aren't 100% sure, there is help available.
You can call the Clark County Child Abuse and Neglect Hotline. The number is right there, 399-0081. Those who answer the phones will tell you what steps you need to take.
Southwest Gas wants to lower your rates again. The company has asked the Public Utilities Commission to approve another rate reduction. This decrease would be in addition to the one that just went into effect at the beginning of December. If approved, the average customer would see a 10% decrease in their monthly bill. It would go into effect by the beginning of February. Meanwhile, Nevada Power is asking for more than a $9 million rate increase. And now the city of Las Vegas may become the second government in the valley to take a closer look at this increase. The city council will take up the issue next Wednesday. The Clark County Commission is deciding whether or not to support the increase as well. The air in Clark County is getting cleaner. The Las Vegas Valley could soon be off a list of areas that fail to meet standards for carbon monoxide and dust in the If the good numbers continue through Monday, the county will be off the Environmental Protection Agency's list for failing to meet the standards for those pollutants. The county has brought the pollution down with smog tests and strict dust control rules.
From the crime team tonight, roommate murder. A woman says she returned to her apartment early this morning and found her roommate dead. Police believe he was murdered, but they won't know exactly how he died until an autopsy is performed. The crime happened at 100 South Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Metro says it's the Valley's 135th murder in 2001. Now, if you have any information, call Secret Witness at 385-5555.
Also from the crime team tonight, a murder today in the northwest part of the valley has one man dead and investigators looking for a motive. The crime team, Scott Burton, is live on the scene right now with more complete coverage in this case. Scott, what can you tell us?
Well, Tricia, Metro investigators say the trigger woman in this case may have actually been acting in self-defense when she allegedly shot her husband in front of at least one family member. Metro's homicide team is still out here tonight, and they're definitely looking into the angle of self-defense. Now, the call came in just before 1 this afternoon, and by the time Metro officers arrived with paramedics, the victim was already dead. Investigators say some sort of argument between the husband and wife escalated into this shooting, and they have not released the name of the victim yet, but we just spoke to a man who claims to be the victim's brother-in-law. He says the victim's name is James Stevens. Now, Metro's homicide investigators will be putting together a report on this case, and the decision whether to charge the woman with murder will likely come from the DA's office.
In all likelihood, what will happen is that we will gather the facts, assemble them in a report, and submit that to the district attorney's office, who will ultimately determine whether or not to file charges.
Now, investigators are still trying to determine whether a restraining order had been granted against either party involved, but we just talked to the brother-in-law, as we mentioned, the man who claimed to be the victim's brother-in-law. He says no restraining order was in place between these two. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll hear firsthand from that man.
So, Scott, with the possibility of self-defense being a plea, is the woman in police custody right now?
She is not, Tricia. She's actually left the scene at this point, and Metro investigators say that they will not arrest her at this point.
All right, Scott, thanks for the latest.
Today's murder is just the latest in a string of deadly acts of domestic violence in the Valley this year. So what's causing this disturbing increase? Crime team reporter Mark Martinez is here now with more complete coverage.
Well, Shawn, the number of deaths caused by domestic violence in the Valley is up by 50% over last year. Most experts blame the influx of new residents to the Valley, but whatever the cause, the numbers don't look good. Metro Police say this murder-suicide on Christmas Day was caused by a history of domestic violence. It began with one man and two women inside an apartment. An argument broke out, and the man pulled a gun, killing one of the women, then himself. Lisa Lynn Chapman of the Safe Nest Shelter for Abused Women and Children says such crimes are often the last act of a repeat abuser.
Oftentimes, a batterer will say, "If you leave me, I will kill you." It's not an idle threat.
In fact, last year, 16 people died as a result of domestic violence. So far this year, that number has doubled to 32. That means a quarter of all murders investigated by Metro are linked to domestic abuse.
We always would love to see our numbers to go down further and further every year, so we are dismayed. It's a major step back for us, we feel.
And for the police officers who investigate domestic violence cases.
It's tough to say why. It's an emotional crime, and the holidays sometimes have things to do with it. Since 9/11, we've seen a few more since years past, so a lot of things in the economy can happen to trigger things like this.
So far this year, Metro has investigated more than 16,000 cases of domestic violence. Experts say getting out of a violent relationship is the most dangerous time for the victim. And sadly, as the numbers prove, there may be little that can truly keep someone safe from a vengeful abuser. Even though some people blame the increase in domestic violence on situations like the slumping economy or the terrorist attacks, counselors say abuse is learned, and the key to stopping it is breaking that cycle. Metro says in 32% of the domestic violence cases they responded to, children have witnessed the violence. With more complete coverage, I'm Mark Martinez, News 13 inside Las Vegas.
And one of the most important weapons in the battle against domestic violence, getting help. If you are in an abusive relationship, there is help available. You can call the Safe Nest hotline at 646-4981. The phone lines are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Safe Nest provides a number of services, including shelter and counseling.
If you're planning on trying to get around the valley on New Year's Eve, there are some things you'll need to know. News 13's Justin Cooper is in live Chopper 13 with more complete coverage. Justin.
These are one of the signs that they just put up a couple of days ago, Tricia. This is on I-15 in Lake Mead heading southbound. You can see subject to closure New Year's Eve. All exits Sahara to Tropicana, and that is because of all of the people that are expected to be in town and on the strip doing their partying for the new year. Also, if you're going to be traveling around town, you want to definitely avoid the strip if you can, because it won't be open to travel, at least for cars. And if you do need to head east or west, you can use Desert End as a great arterial route, because that does go underneath the strip, and that can get you from one end of town to the other in a pretty good amount of time. We'll have more complete coverage coming up on our big New Year's show with all of that information here for you, with all the traffic as well. Back to you guys.
All right, New Year's Eve is just around the corner, but don't think the celebrations are limited to fireworks on the strip. They are still the biggest draw, but there are also a few non-traditional things you can do to ring in 2002. We'll tell you how you can head out of this world for New Year's Eve, coming up on News 13 at 6. And if you want to know what other New Year's activities are available, both on and off the strip, just log on to our website at yourinsidelasvegas.com and click on links.
And if you don't want to brave the roads, but still want a great view, don't worry. News 13 will have the New Year's celebrations covered from every angle. We'll have live coverage throughout the evening at 8 different locations around the valley, including some spectacular views of the fireworks. For more complete coverage, join News 13 for Las Vegas 2002. I cannot wait.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, my first New Year's here in Las Vegas.
Me
it's
too.
Be a lot of fun.
Well, there's just 4 more days left until the new year. Believe it or not, that's still enough time to make paying your taxes a little easier. Contact 13 will have some smart year-end tax moves that can save you money next.
And for 6.5 hours, 2 men sat strapped in their seats, trapped in this airplane 75 feet above the ground. We'll have more complete coverage on their rescue still ahead.
And we're also covering a storm system that is moving onshore in California. When's it going to get here and what's it going to do? We'll let you know in the forecast when News 13 at 5 continues with more complete coverage inside Las Vegas.
Now, more complete coverage continues with Cathy Ray, Shawn Boyd, Tricia Kean, Contact 13, and Nathan Tannenbaun with your complete forecast. This is News 13 inside Las Vegas.
From Contact 13 tonight, the IRS expects more than 130 million individual tax returns to be filed for 2001, but there are a few things you can do before 2002 to make paying them easier.
First, if you itemize your deductions, you should prepay as much as possible. This is for deductible items such as mortgage payments, state income taxes, medical bills, health insurance, and property taxes. These deductions are worth slightly more this year than they will be next year. You can also defer income.
One of the great advantages of the Tax Reform Act was that income tax brackets actually dropped. If your boss is going to give you a big year-end bonus or even a small year-end bonus, you may want to say, can you wait until January 1st in order to do that? That way it'll count next year whenever your tax rate's lower.
Another thing you want to make sure of, don't touch college savings plans for now. As of January 2002, all distributions from college savings plans are exempt from federal taxes. If you tap into the plan before 2002, earnings will be taxed at 15%. You also might want to consider giving away money.
Another option that you may want to look into is actually donating to a charity. The difference is you want to make sure you get that charitable deduction in and contribution in before the year end, and that works as an itemized deduction that you can write off on your taxes. So again, make sure you get that done before the 31st.
And this year, Congress passed legislation to cut taxes by $1.3 trillion between now and 2011. That's the largest tax cut since 1981.
All right, it's about 5:15, and folks are headed home from work. And Justin Cooper, he's in live chopper 13 to kind of give us the details on how things are going there.
Well, not too bad. This is Sahara and Jones right now, Shawn, and of course, usually a pretty heavily traveled street here on Sahara, and a pretty good-looking intersection right now. No major accidents or any problems up here in the northwest part of town. There was a problem earlier at Rainbow and Russell, just a little bit to the south of here, where actually a traffic light was out. They're doing some work out there on Rainbow as you head in from 215, and you actually had some traffic lights out where a contractor hit a line. That has since been repaired, so things are back to normal there. But things are pretty good tonight. We do have a lot of traffic inbound, and that's going to continue tomorrow as a lot of folks heading in for the long 3-day weekend or the New Year's weekend, as you can say. Back to you guys.
All right, sounds good.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Well,
I'm going to be with you, Nate.
Yes.
Oh, you guys are going to be together?
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to be having fun. I think we're supposed to be up on the Rio.
We're going to be on top of the Rio partying.
That's a great view, by the way.
It really is. And we're thinking the weather is going to be great on New Year's Eve, but we do have a little bit of a storm that we are going to have to get through. Remember? Yeah, we talked yesterday about some rain.
That's right.
It now looks like it's going to be here on Saturday. Should be gone by New Year's Eve. Let's check it outside right now. Mountain Cam, and what a beautiful sight in the city. Yeah, we do have lots of clouds. We're at 55 degrees. Humidity is 31%. There's a little breeze coming out of the west at 6 miles an hour, and the barometer is holding steady right now at 30.05. Yeah, the clouds have really rolled on in, and definitely there are some storms associated with these clouds, but they are still at least 24 hours away, if not into Saturday. Other temperatures around town at this hour with 55. The official reading out at McCarran. Henderson made it to 60 earlier today at 57 right now. Nellis, you're at 56. Cloud cover, 53 for North Las Vegas. Summerlin, you guys are at 52. And the National Weather Service reporting 55 as well. How about elsewhere around the county? Oh, they're hanging in there up on the mountain, making it to 37 for the right now temperature and 48 from our friend Steve Benson over the hump in Pahrump. As far as the history book for today is concerned, hey, it hasn't been too bad. We thought we would make it to 57. We just managed to make it to right smack dab on the nose of normal at 56. Still very nice. Low this morning with cloud cover, a few degrees warmer than normal at 36. Sun gets up at 10 minutes till 7 tomorrow. Air quality at 5 o'clock, a couple of moderate spots for dust. Otherwise, carbon monoxide and ozone are in the good category. All right, at this time yesterday, we had some snow showers over Salt Lake City. They have long gone. And here is some pretty powerful rain. However, the jet stream is literally taking this stuff and marching it all the way up and over. That is where the storm energy is going for now, but eventually that storm system is going to come this way, so that's why we're going to include a slight chance for showers coming up on Saturday. Just cloudy during the day tomorrow. And hey, what do you say we take a trip around the world? Yes, we've got more complete coverage. We're going all the way over to Australia because we wanted to show you some very interesting video of a water spout that occurred during the annual Sydney to Hobart yacht race. Take a look at these pictures. The skipper of an 80-foot boat said that he was almost lifted off the surface of his yacht and thought that he might have been going up into the sky and not coming back down. As you might or might not know, a waterspout is literally a tornado that happens over water. So instead of picking up stuff on the ground, it's picking up water and sucking it up into the atmosphere. And some folks had to drop out of that annual yacht race from Sydney to Hobart, an incredible waterspout for you to take a look at. Meantime, we'll head on back home and talk about temperatures again here in the Southwest. Early this morning, it was in the teens in Ely, managing to make it into the upper 30s before dropping down to the upper 20s, where it is right now. Upper 50s still for you guys down in the Phoenix area if you got family and friends. Also for San Diego and Los Angeles at 58. Now, family and friends across the rest of the nation, teens and 20s for much of the eastern third of our country. It was definitely still some snow showers. Let's take a look at the radar pictures. And yes, there's been plenty of snow moving fairly quickly to the east, Pittsburgh to Philadelphia, and then another round now for Chicago. And there's that system that we're going to be dealing with in the next little while. Definitely cloudy for tonight, so that'll keep the low kind of on the warm side at 39. During the day on Friday, don't expect to see a lot of sunshine, plenty of clouds. We'll try for a high of 57, again with light wind. Now out at the recreation areas, we think Lake Mead will definitely be on the cloudy side. 62 your high tomorrow after 42 in the morning. And up on the mountain, clouds, but no rain or snow. Upper 20s tonight, low 50s tomorrow. And then we take you through the rest of the year into the first of 2002. Very nice temperatures in the upper 50s. Overnight lows only around 40.
Hey, not bad. Can't complain there.
There you go.
All right, Nate.
Well, when it comes to the most admired living man and woman, who would you name?
According to the latest CNN USA Today Gallup poll, George W. Bush is tops, followed by Secretary of State Colin Powell, New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, Pope John Paul II, and evangelist Billy Graham. Now on the women's side, First Lady Laura Bush is most admired, followed by Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton, talk show queen Oprah Winfrey, former First Lady Barbara Bush, and National Security Advisor Condoleezza Rice. Now, President Bush has received the largest share of the vote since Gallup started asking the question way back in 1948.
It's amazing. I like Oprah.
Yeah, all right.
Well, still ahead, an amazing scene as rescue workers try to rescue two men trapped in an airplane.
At that point, we were fully expecting to drop and impact the ground.
They were suspended 75 feet above ground. You'll hear their harrowing story coming up.
And we've been following the story of a cancer cluster in the small northern Nevada town of Fallon. It's a heartbreaking story that's now affected another family. The health team will have more complete coverage still ahead.
Tonight on News 13 Inside Las Vegas.
InsideLasVegas.com. Get updates on construction, road closings, and accidents. Just choose a specific location, and our webcams give you a live look at traffic only on News 13.
Now, with more complete coverage, News 13 continues with the health team.
Another child in northern Nevada has been diagnosed with leukemia. The 3-year-old is the 15th child to be diagnosed with acute lymphocytic leukemia in the last few years. All of the children have lived in or near the small town of Fallon. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the Nevada State Health Division are investigating the cancer cluster, trying to find the cause. Also from the health team, a new study finds large doses of a popular nutritional supplement could increase the risk of cancer. Chromium picolinate is used by bodybuilders and is also becoming popular among diabetics and obese people. But doctors, including News 13's medical editor, Dr. Michael Resnick, are very skeptical of this new study.
I don't think that this study proves anything about chromium's applicability to human use and or its potential to cause cancer. Chromium picolinate is probably not the greatest drug for use in obesity or diabetes, but relative to this particular study, I don't think it's going to cause cancer.
Chromium picolinate is marketed as a supplement to help the body build muscle. It can be found in nearly any health food store or on vitamin shelves at pharmacies.
Well, 2 men have an amazing tale to tell. They hadn't landed yet, but they weren't exactly in the air either.
That's right. Their plane got snagged on some power lines. You'll hear their amazing story next on News 13 Inside Las Vegas. New at 6.
It's out with the old, in with the new. If you have any European currency sitting around, you better get rid of it. I'm Mark Sayer. I'll tell you why.
Plus, don't know what to do for New Year's Eve? See some fun and exciting ideas to ring in the new year. That's New at 6 on News 13.
On New Year's Eve, we're reaching out to the world again.
ABC 2002.
We hope you'll join us together with the rest of the world.
And as Las Vegas rings in the new year.
Stay with News 13 at 11.
The only place to be this New Year's Eve is News 13 and ABC.
Well, 2 men have their feet firmly planted on the ground now.
They dangled upside down for hours after their plane crashed into power lines. Dan Ronan has their remarkable story.
9:45 last night, pilot Atlanta's Brian Hooker flying a Piper Warrior with a friend he'd picked up earlier in Cleveland. The flight in the small plane takes about 4.5 hours depending on wind. Hooker told me he had planned to refuel in Knoxville, Tennessee, but instead decided to press on to McCullum Airport to refuel here. His final destination, Terra Field in Hampton. Then the plane's engine begins to run rough. The engine quits. Hooker told me he tried to restart the engine while looking for a clearing, a place to land. But the engine dead, the plane now a glider. The fuel tanks apparently empty. Hooker told me we thought we had enough fuel. Then at about 70 miles per hour, the plane hits a power pole and amazingly avoids the electric lines.
The aircraft came in kind of on a southwest approach into this area and apparently just caught the power lines and actually slid the power lines and pinned it against the pole. Apparently one of the wires, one of the high-tension wires had broken and actually had the aircraft pinned to the pole.
For 6.5 hours, the 2 men strapped in their seats sat 75 feet above the ground as rescue workers tried to save them.
We were suspended upside down at that point. We were fully expecting to drop and impact the ground.
Hooker says he's convinced it was not just luck and the skill of the firefighters that saved his life and that of his passenger.
We know we were blessed because we gathered around and prayed about this flight before we came down here. And so I'm so thankful to the Lord that he honored that prayer.
Prayers work, don't they?
Yeah, they are blessed.
Wow.
And that does it for News 13 at 5. We'll see you back here in 30 minutes.
That's right. World News Tonight with Peter Jennings begins right now.